Hello, hello, Be Well Fitness here. And today I have my wonderful client, Pamela. She's joining us today live to share her experience working with me and how it has helped her with her pains and aches and other empowering moments. Thank you, Pam, for being here. How are you
Thank
today?
you. I'm fine. I'm much better after my workout session this morning.
Okay, good. Yeah, she's
Yeah.
smiling. Not the tendency to work people hard in interesting capacities, I guess.
Mhm.
Right. I'm going to ask you the first question. So, what caused you to sign up with me? Where were you before we started?
Well, I heard about you from my physical therapist, and a few months ago, I decided that I just had enough of aches and pains and frequent injuries and muscle strains and things like that. I never could seem to get on top of things, so I started going to a physical therapist, and she worked with me for a few months, and then she said that what would be a better thing for me to do is to come see her less and go see you more. That you would be able to give me more consistent direction and practice. And I just, that seemed like a really good idea to me. And I found that to be true, that you can keep up with, I guess, with the more immediate issues that I have from week to week, but also you can actually see what I'm able to do, what I'm not able to do, and customize your I guess your exercise plan for me,
Yes.
and help me right there live in the session to adjust to make sure that I'm doing things correctly.
Okay.
So,
Yes.
yeah,
And what was your main complaint before we started?
I think I'd always had a lot of back problems since I strained my back a number of years ago, and it seemed like if I had an injury, I'd get sent to physical therapy. I'd go to physical therapy for a while. They get you up to what they call functional, but it's never up to where I was before. And I'm 68, and I know that as I get older, it's going to be more difficult to maintain just my balance and my strength and my dexterity and agility. So I wanted to be as fit as I possibly could be going into this next stage of life. So I was just tired of always being like one level down after each time with physical therapy, or after an injury or a strain or something. And I was just always having to be careful about everything I did. If my knees were bothering me, it was like, okay, well, I guess I don't need to go downstairs.
Mm.
Or I had to be careful, even just setting the table, leaning over to put things on the table, getting in and out of the car. I walk a couple of miles a day, just as a habit, but even with that, things would hurt, things would strain, and then I would have to modify. And it just was getting to the point where I couldn't do anything without modifying something somehow.
Yeah.
So
Yes, I can see that happening, and that's kind of a story of many of my clients I work with. So then, what have been your aha moments from the time we started to work together? What results have you been seeing?
I think the first thing that I began to see was that I had much less pain. I had a lot of back and neck pain and knee pain and things like that, and that began to fade pretty quickly. I'd say within 2 to 3 weeks, I was having no more neck pain at all. My back pain was greatly reduced. Like if I got tired, then it would start to ache again. But then I would go do some exercises that you had shown me, and that would kind of reset everything. And I just learned a lot about how to take care of my body. Like if something starts to hurt or something feels like it's strained or stressed somehow, I go back to what you've taught me and do that. And it seems to really ease the issue and get me realigned so that I can continue with what I'm doing. So I think just being able to have this increased functionality and agility and have less pain has just been the biggest thing of all.
Great. So yeah, and from my perspective, you are my ideal client to work with. Just because you've been everywhere and you know kind of like the difference, you know what you want, you have a great spirit, you understand that yes, there is an age, but there is something we can do about it, and you do your homework. That's the best. Because it is a teamwork approach. And as I always tell my clients that yes, I'm your guide, but you have to help yourself as well. And you are a very diligent student. So thank you for being that great student, because that's how you get results quicker and get results. That's awesome. So that's what I'm glad to hear that. So now tell us where you are now with all your physical journey and feeling better, and what is possible for you as you are approaching your age. How's it feeling different?
Well, I haven't tried mowing the lawn because it's January, but I feel like I'm able to do my housework without like getting twinges or having to modify a lot. I find that I can walk farther without getting tired, having pain. I can do everything, I guess, with more energy because I'm not fighting the pain all the time. And I guess I'm finding a lot of muscles I forgot that I had and didn't know how to use them. I'd gotten to the point where so many things were weak and so many things were out of alignment or out of balance that it was just too complicated for me to figure out what to do. And once in a while I would say, well, okay, I'm going to look for some core strength exercises, or I'm going to, you'd find some program, and I'd end up getting injured, and because I didn't know where to start, and you have such a deep knowledge of how the musculoskeletal system and how it all works together, and you have a really good eye for spotting what's wrong, and just your ability to, you don't just say, okay, we're going to do week 1 program, week 1, we're going to do week 2 program, week 2. It doesn't, no matter what progress you're making or the client is making, you are always modifying and individualizing. And I think that's really cool. So because of that, I can walk almost normally now. I don't, I apparently was going down on one side. I know how to breathe. I know how to stand. I know how to sit. I know how to lie down. I know how to get up. I know how to sit down and stand up, and all these basic things that you never think about. But if you don't do them right, or if you don't have the muscles to do them right, they can cause you a lot of pain, and you are not able to do them without modifying somehow in order to do that. And I find myself doing that less and less.
That's great. And I remember that time when we had a session after the holidays, after Christmas, you said that I was able to cook for a few hours for my family.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even realize I wasn't hurting until I realized later.
Yeah,
yes, that was a good win, because that's, again, a very common story that I do hear, especially when we were before COVID. And I remember particularly one lady who came and said, we were cooking for this shelter for days and hours. And since then, my back is not the same. So, and that was, I think, a great win. So what are your plans, like, I guess, for the summer? Is there something that you want to get back to or doing more of because you feel like you have more tools, you're much more aware of your body, you feel the strength? Is there anything that is more possible now?
Yes, I think I love to work outside. I like to be outside and working in the yard and gardening and things like that. And about, I'd say 6 or 7 years ago, I noticed that every May my back would go out. And I realized that that's when I would start digging around and doing things like that. So there were a lot of things I just backed off of, and I started hiring high school kids and college kids to do it for me. And each year I'd like cut off another job that I like to do and given it to the kid I hired to do, to the point where I'm planting some flowers and watering them, and it's like, this is no fun. I want to have some poles. I want to, cut down some bushes or plant things, that are heavier. And I feel it's been such a so much progress in such a short time with you that I feel that by the time April comes around and May comes around, that I'll probably be strong enough to do most of the things that I did before. I won't be stupid about it, but I'll be able to do things that I had given up doing the last 5 or 6 years.
Well,
So
that's awesome. Yeah, it's empowering to have that hope and know you can do it. And yes, we have time to build up our strength and
yeah.
capabilities. So I have no doubt it's going to happen. So, I guess my last question, what would you tell somebody or your friend maybe who is going through some similar things and maybe still kind of on the fence? Well, I don't know if I need that or I don't need that. So what would you say?
I would say you need it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you say you need it because?
Well, I think that I just find you really easy to work with. I find your, as I said before, your depth of knowledge and your ability to flex with the client's situation is really remarkable. I find you to be very creative in addressing problems. My physical therapist recommended you because she said you're a problem solver. And she knew I had a lot of problems. So
Yeah,
you are. I mean, I'll think it's one thing, and then you'll take a look at it and say, "Oh no, it's not that. It's the real problem is over here." And I would never have thought to even consider that my ankles were causing something higher up on my back, or that just learning how to stand so that my weight is balanced again, and how to use my muscles in the correct order. Those are things that you're just not aware that you're doing, and you got the eye and the knowledge and the experience to be able to see what's really going on with the client. And there isn't any packaged program, I would say, like people buy exercise program videos and they try to follow them, but you have no feedback. You have no way of knowing whether you're doing it in an effective way or not. And having you be able to do that, I think makes it all the more effective. One thing that really impresses me is that you and I have never met face to face because of COVID. And you've done all of this over Zoom. And if you don't have the ability to position me or, say, "Oh no, not like that," but you talk me through it, and it's complicated, and I can tell I'm not, I'm not always getting what you're telling me, but you're patient with me, and you just keep working with me until I get it. And then once I get it, it's like, wow, yeah, that's a huge difference. So
Yes.
I think I'm also kind of a tightwad. So I have avoided, I just thought, oh, personal trainer, that's a luxury, that's too expensive. But when I consider, if I were to exercise 10 or 6 days a week, it's $10 a day for me. That's not very much to get this level of strength and flexibility back. And to be able to draw on your expertise. You're great about sending me extra content when I need it. And if I'm having problems, I can email you and you will contact me back pretty quickly with suggestions about what's going on. I haven't had to do this yet, but you've invited me to send you a video if I'm having trouble with something, and you'll look at the video. So I feel like the time that you give me is not just limited to that hour that we spend together. And in fact, I've noticed that you go overtime with me quite often. And you're just very generous with your time, with your abilities, with your knowledge, and I really appreciate that.
Well, yes, thank you. And yes, I know you are a very detailed-oriented person as well. So that's why I appreciate your patience and also your honesty to say, I don't get it. So that makes me just think differently or look at it differently or explain it differently. So that's that you're definitely my trainer as well. And yes, we haven't met in person, and doing it online it just takes you out of that comfort zone. When in person, I definitely can come and just turn you this way, and that's it.
Right.
Just finding the right words that work for you, and then also making that, oh yeah, now I feel what you're saying I'm supposed to be feeling. And that's exactly where that challenge comes for kind of both of us, to help you be more aware of your body and help me to be better communicating on how to make those connections. Yes. I appreciate your patience as well. And you're definitely also a very, I would say, proactive person as well, because I did love that you would give me feedback on how you feel or something flared up, or you would ask a question, and that's because I want to help you. And if you don't help me to help you, that's going to be also challenging. So I appreciate that as well. And I think the last thing I wanted just to comment on what you said, and yes, kind of comparing that personal training and the money situation and all of that, I think it's also kind of depends on our mindset. If we look at it as an expense, then we treat that as an expense. And just like you said before, when you were always kind of in pain and didn't know what to do and exploring all this Googling and stuff like that, look how much time you spent and how many appointments you had to go to and how much energy you had to spend just to baby yourself so you don't feel that pain. So, and here you are much more empowered with tools, and that's that investment in your future. Because I'm not going to be with you. I'm going to give you all the tools we can on maintenance plans in the future. But I want you to be empowered and also more connected with your body, so that you look at it as your investment that you can take with you for the rest of your life. And that's awesome. So this is, anything else?
I was just going to say that because I feel so much better, and because you've given me tools to deal with it if I do start to use something wrong, if I start to get sore or something like that, I have a lot more confidence in trying to do things that I had either given up doing or have never done before, just because I don't feel, I guess, as precarious as I did before. I just never knew when it was going to be too much and something would snap them, and then that would be it. But now I don't feel that way anymore. It's I feel much more stable physically and able to meet.
And that's huge. Yes, because it gets your confidence back, and again, you're not wasting that energy or mind just to constantly protect yourself because you're afraid it's going to hurt again. And we're just creating all those little moments of confidence and knowing, yes, I can, yes, I can, yes, I can, yes, I can. And yes, we still don't have 100% guarantee that we can prevent the injury, but we can definitely build the body and awareness to go relatively safely about it. And that's awesome. That's why I stand by strong, able, and well. That's strong in mind and body, and just having that sense of I'm able to garden this summer, and I'm looking forward to it, and that brings me joy. And yes, I feel well doing that and living the life and doing the activities I do. And yes, I am over 60, but I all said that because I'm able. Yes. Well, thank you so much, Pam, for your sharing and experience. I love that you're making your progress, and I know you're working very hard for it. And I look forward to more success and summer coming. More stories. Yes. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Julie. I appreciate the chance to share.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay. Bye.